Chapter 5. No to Materialism. Never be deceived that what you want is always what you need. Throughout all the ages, man desires to acquire and own something for himself. This defines why toddlers cry whenever toys or dolls are taken away from them. The desire to own something for oneself is not bad, because each of us ought to look up for wonderful life experiences. But the trouble lies in having extreme desire to own several things to an extent that the desires of our wants outweighs that of our needs. This extreme desire is what gives birth to a materialistic mindset and a lifestyle of wanting more than we actually need. What's the difference between a need and a want? A need is something that you cannot basically live without for the rest of your life. For example, oxygen, water, and food. But as a student, some of your needs, the things or requirements you cannot study without, are school dues such as books and pens. Whereas a want is something that you would like to have despite the fact that you can live without it. In this case, as a student, these are things or material you can study and excel without. For example, trending shoes and clothes, and any other luxurious commodity you can think of. However, there is no doubt that you need shoes and clothes as a student, but it is not a must that they should be the trending ones. Therefore, not having a trendy cloth or shoe should not negatively influence the progress of your academics, and surely it does not mean that you are not being cared for by your parents or guardians. Besides, you might be thinking, what's the danger in having more for myself? Having material that you want though do not need literally would not be a problem, but the means you go through to attain and accumulate them is what makes the act of being materialistic a vice and not a noble way of life worth living. Thus you ought to say no to it. Dangers of materialism. Materialism bridges one's gap with several indiscipline cases, several forms of immorality, and corrupt behavior in the urge to attain one's wants without paying the genuine price due. However, just like it is emphasized in the previous chapters for the other vices, the vice of materialism too has no power over you if you decide to stand firm by your no to any glitters. After all, not all that glitters is gold. Way forward against materialism. You are not materialistic, and therefore you shouldn't be. 1. The world will present several enticing things or material before you, but the truth is, you don't need all of them, despite the fact that you feel a strong urge to have them. Therefore, always strive to have a balance so that you reach a point of wanting what you need in order to stand a great chance of achieving your life aspirations. 2. You ought to bear it in mind that for everything you are going to have in life, there is a genuine price you ought to pay. It does not matter whether it is a need or a want. All have price tags attached. 3. If you pay the genuine price due, then you'll have the strength to overcome the spirit of materialism. 4. Say no to materialism and firmly stand by your no to anyone who may try to mislead you into unlawful acts due to promises of material rewards. Remember, you have what it takes to overcome the temptation of materialism. All you need is to just say no. Reflection questions on materialism. Basing on the fact that whatever you want is not always what you need, in about 5 minutes, think about your needs and wants in order to pursue your academics uninterrupted. Then, 1. List all the things you want while at school. 2. From your list of wants, identify the key things that you genuinely need in order to pursue academics uninterrupted. 3. For the needs you already have, be thankful to your parents or guardians, and for the ones you don't have, open up to your parents or guardians about the missing needs. Conclusion. I congratulate you upon having read through this book from start to completion. I believe that you've realized and gained the insight of the relevance of a boy's no. However, in order to build a boy's no, it is a question of how strong is the boy's reason why he should have a strong no. But to sum it all, it is to enable him contribute to the creation of and living in an inclusive, more productive and impactful society or community. Nevertheless, young man, you can stand firm by your no, and therefore you will. It is all up to the choice you take right from now. Say no and mean it.